In this video, I'll be talking about two different areas in London which I visited. One of which of the areas I'll be comparing is Upton Park and Mayfair. Considering Upton Park is in the heart of East London, London Borough of Newham, and Mayfair is located in the West End of London in the London Borough of Westminster. My experiences were both different depending on which area I was visiting at the time, and I'm talking about from the people, cars, buildings, jobs, surroundings, and noise of the two areas. I have observed Mayfair is more clean and has a busy atmosphere in contrast to Upton Park. The atmosphere was more calm, but the area is not as clean. I have noticed vast differences when I was out at the two locations. I have taken some pictures and some videos to help visualise a better image of what I'll be talking about. Mayfair is situated in the London Borough of Westminster. Mayfair seems to have a high socio-economical class from the people, shops, roads, hotels and houses and schools. In the area there is a large high-end department store called Selfridges. The store caters fashion designer clothing for high-end consumers such as celebrities, footballers, international stars and tourists. Some of the products include bespoke made-to-measure services which also include dedicated lounges with sofas and beverages such as champagne or afternoon tea. These services cater for affluent individuals and families from the upper class. The brands are distinctively different from items which can be bought in high street stores such as Primark, H&M and New Look. These items are designed using high-quality materials such as leather, suede and wool, as many of the items from high street stores are made from polyester and cotton, as they cost less to purchase and may not be as durable. Mayfair is a very busy and congested area. Many people are rushing around, the atmosphere is more tense and individuals are dressed in smart clothing and have a polished look about them. It sets a look on anybody who is dressed informally. For example, trainers or casual clothing. This is because most of the people are dressed smartly and very well groomed. The people use school sentences in a very academic style of English which is usually found in textbooks, which shows their seriousness about them and very little to general talk. There are many expensive stores such as Gucci, Fendi and Balenciaga. These stores are guarded by security guards outside. There is a pressure to look and dress a certain way in order to enter these high-end stores, or even gazing through the window of the glass. An individual can be made to feel unwelcomed as they do not fit in the criteria. The area is consumed with sports and expensive cars such as Lamborghinis, Range Rovers, Porsches and Bentleys. This shows an expensive taste of those who live in the West End. I have also come to notice many of those who own the cars don't drive the cars themselves. They have their own personal chauffeurs, showing the luxury treatment they can afford. The area is also populated with high-end culture such as natural history museums, galleries and the Royal Albert Hall. This includes several high-end restaurants, afternoon tea spots and bars. There is a collection of expensive hotels such as the Hilton, the Westbury, Mayfair and the Ritz. The area is highly populated with private schools, gated properties and private healthcare. These services perpetuate class divisions and social inequality. This links to the approach of habitus. According to Costa and Murphy 2015, habitus as a concept is stratification. One of the schools in the area is called Eaton Square, a private school situated in Mayfair. The fees are extremely high and are as follows. For year 7 and 8 it is £7,495 and for year 9 and 10 it is £7,750 per term, which comes up to £23,250 per year. And for an additional amount of money, students are able to access clubs, activities which take part outside the school day, music tuition and trips and outings on top of paying their school fees. Families which are wealthy are able to do so as they have the means and the wealth. This places them above others, i.e. the working class. According to Costa and Murphy 2015, Bourgeois stated subjectivity is attributed to the world of the individual who, as a social being, understands reality in accordance with his and hers experiences and living context. This relates back to the individual who lives in the affluent areas, and their judgments will be more closed as they believe they are above those who are working class. The area of Mayfair is populated with luxury apartments, grand houses. They have a nice architecture and the houses have large windows and pointed roofs. Houses cost a fortune to buy in Mayfair. For a 2-bedroom flat it costs around £11 million. The area is also clean, no sight of litter and the pavements are flat and levelled. Upton Park is situated in the London Borough of Newham. Upton Park seems to have a low economical status. The area has many transport links such as buses and trains which include the Central District and Jubilee Line. Majority of the population are of working class background. Upton Park is considered as a low socio-economical area. This is evident in the community shops and amenities which are available. The shops sell ordinary unbranded goods. Aside from this, it also has stores such as local furniture shops and second-hand furniture shops. They sell everyday goods such as bread, milk, fruits, vegetables and general household products. I have observed the shops provide these items out of need and not out of luxury, unlike Mayfair. There are many local shops such as supermarkets, meat shops, and a large market called the Queen's Market. They sell lots of fresh fruits and vegetables which are cheap and good value for money, i.e. £1 for a bowl of fruits or vegetables. According to the Newham Council website, the Queen's Market is one of the London's famous and diverse markets and one of its cheapest. The market is part of the local community with events and festivals throughout the year, including Easter egg hunt, Santa's grotto at Christmas, summer festivals and celebrations for Eid and Diwali. Local businesses include fast food and takeaway chains such as Spice Hut, Dixie and Kebabish, and other fried chicken shop. Other local businesses include estate agents, tax offices, immigration solicitor offices, and a vast majority of beauty parlours. There are no private schools in the area and very little private healthcare compared to Mayfair. The local children attend primary and comprehensive schools and the local healthcare services are run by the NHS. The Councillor of Newham is Roxana Fires, who is a member of the Labour Party. According to the Labour Party 2019, with Labour we'll build a country where we invest our wealth to give everyone the best chance. The council hosts many events such as Under the Stars, which is an outdoor music festival hosted over 4 days in Central Park once a year. It offers different genres of music and brings together a diverse and multicultural community in Newham. The roads in Upton Park are not as clean as the roads in Mayfair. There is a high scale of litter, dump, potholes and uneven paths. The housing in Upton Park is quite poor as there are a number of tower blocks in the area with many rows of terraced houses. The locals of Upton Park seem approachable and it is evident in their body language and gestures. Some people will smile at you. Many of the locals have a close community so they will know each other, stop and greet each other as carrying on with their daily errands. This gives a calm atmosphere and a feel-good sense of belonging, whereas in Mayfair the roads are busy and people are minding their own business and are not so obliged to you. The locals don't look as polished as to those in Mayfair. There is a good feeling to wear and look as you want without being judged. Newham offers free school meals in primary and secondary schools. According to the Newham Council 2019, Newham is one of the only free local authorities in the country to provide a universally free school meal scheme to junior schools, and currently over 15,000 pupils are benefiting from a free school meal. This provision was used as a measure of poverty, but it was highly criticised and viewed as a smokescreen, as it was a distraction from the real deficiencies which lie in the educational system. This was considered as a compensatory approach which unrolled the real issues of poverty and deprivation. Newham has undergone a huge construction since hosting the 2012 London Olympics. This was a way to improve the local area and appeal to investors. However, it is still considered to be a low socio-economical area with working class families. This links to capitalism. According to Schumpeter 1976, capitalism, then, is by nature a form or method of economic change and not only never is, but never can be stationary. In the Manifesto of the Communist Party 1848, by bourgeois is meant the class of modern capitalists, owners of the means of social production and employers of wage labour. By proletariat, the class of modern wage labourers who have no means of production of their own, are reduced to selling their labour power in order to live. The bourgeois, who are known to have a high percentage of wealth, and those who are CEOs, directors and owners of big business chains such as Selfridges in Mayfair, Gucci, Versace, Louis Vuitton, all of these businesses profit through their labourers, whereas the proletariat are a class of individuals who do not own any business or means of production. These are working class individuals who work to earn a living. These include office, retail staff, cleaners, construction workers and childminders. In terms of social capital, according to Sishian 2000, bourgeois concept of social capital puts the emphasis on conflicts and the power function, social relations that increase the ability of an actor to advance her and his interests, social positions and the division of economic, cultural and social resources in general are legitimized with the help of symbolic capital. From the bourgeois perspective, social capital becomes a resource in the social struggles that are carried out in different social arenas or fields. His approach was different to the Marxists, as unlike Marxists, bourgeois concentrated on social and cultural capital. Economical capital is referred to money in the bank, the amount of money an individual owns in terms of their property, other properties, vehicles, financial assets. Some individuals within the same class will have a low level of economical capital compared to others who have a high level of economical capital. This is known as class fraction. Social capital relates to a network of social ties which can be maintained through memberships of people who have power and privilege. According to Boronsky and Hassan 2015, social capital relates to social class groups and their networks in form of exchange, social obligations and other connections that create a sense of belonging to a class or a class fraction. The working class have a very little social and cultural economical capital, meaning unlike the upper class, they do not have access to opportunities through their social networks. They are not able to receive privileges the same way those who are in high class would. They are unable to take part in high cultural activities such as theatre, music classes and opera, as they may not be able to afford them. This is part of the upper class habitus, values, everyday life and children's private schooling. They are born into a dominant culture which puts them on top of everyone else. An individual's language and mannerism can act upon to distinguish an individual's class. According to Boronsky and Hassan, 2015, socialization is a process where an individual learns and accepts roles. There are many different agencies of socialization, such as family and schools. The habitus between the working class and the upper class is different, as it is shown in the observations of the retail shops in Mayfair and Upton Park. Although the working and upper class are both from the same society, their habitus is completely different. The working class have different values which forms a part of their habitus. Which doesn't revolve around education, unlike those who are upper class. Education is a part of their habitus because of the attitudes or practice held by their parents, which they pass on to their children, making it part of their habitus. The upper class may always be on top of the working class because they have different values and attitudes towards education compared to the working class. According to Lawton 2006, the implication would be that whereas the non-transitional working class show resistance to formal education and the middle class a high degree of orientation to education. In conclusion, this report has considered social inequalities, including social economical status and social class. The report has also considered social issues such as Bordeaux mentioned relating to habitus and culture towards education. The two areas have shown the differences between the upper class and working class and what attributes differentiate the two. I have spoken about theoretical approaches which interlink with the social inequalities of education.